Hi, I'm Pastor Mira, and this is Sermon in 3 Minutes. This past Sunday, we celebrated World Communion Sunday, which began in 1933 and has become an ecumenical opportunity for Christians around the world to come together, to worship in their own communities, and to remember that we are connected and we are unified by the love and the family of Jesus. We looked this Sunday at 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 1 through 7, where Paul writes from prison behind chains. He writes to his mentee, Timothy. And to Timothy, in these opening sentences, he says a few things that are really important for us to remember today. He reminds Timothy that he needs to be thankful for past generations. He needs to be thankful for his mom, Lois, and his grandmother, Eunice, for their Jewish faith, for how they raised him, and what they taught him that from the Jewish faith now is part of the history of his Christian faith as he becomes a disciple and a leader for Christ in the church. He also reminds Timothy that Paul has been thankful for him. He says, "I thank God for you day and night." Imagine what it meant to Timothy to be reading that his mentor, someone that loved him, someone that wasn't even part of his family, was praying for him that diligently to God. You know, it's a challenge for parents, grandparents, for all of us who love kids at our church. Do we pray for our children, and not only pray for them, but do we tell them that we're praying for them? It can be inspirational, it can be a blessing, and it's a reminder that someone cares for you that deeply and that they want to connect you and God. Paul also reminds Timothy the importance of passing on his faith. He says this is the most important and urgent work that you can do. You know, here at CUMC, we believe that passing on the faith is critical, and part of that is equipping adults, because the adults of our church, those who are grandparents, parents, those who just greet kids and see them in our church, who are the youth leaders, they're the ones that we really need to help you deepen your faith so that then you can pass it on to our kids. It also means that we're willing to embrace the gifts of God, both within ourselves, but also encourage and embrace those within the kids and the youth of our church. I have a shirt at home. It says, family doesn't have to match, but love is what makes us a family. It's so true. Here at CUMC, we know there are kids in our community, kids in our church, who their families may not be part of CUMC here. But as the family of God here in Carlisle, our role is really to love those kids and help them know that they are part of the family here because they're part of God's family. So family isn't just biological, it's also who we love. And so here at CUMC, we really want to be mindful that the older generations are loving and are sharing with the younger generations. I closed this past Sunday with a story about Reverend Zephaniah Kamoti, a pastor in Nambia, and he told a story about his wife. They lived in a very racially tense area where blacks and whites really didn't get along, and his family was black, and his wife was really challenged by the hurt that had been done by some white people in their community. And he told the story of bringing 2 kids who were hungry into their church, and his wife was challenged when she went to feed them and saw the color of their skin. And he said, you know, it was hard, but she served them out of kindness, and that melted her heart, and she was reminded that these were children of her community. You know, we are called to serve out of kindness, to be an example to our children, to live like Jesus. That's really what Paul was writing about to Timothy. Remember and look to these older generations as you go into ministry. Here at CUMC, we want to live like Jesus because there are so many little eyes watching. Hope you have a great week. See you back here next week.